Sand, 1 Cross Switcher is a little awkward, but really nothing too bad. Over on Patricia's side, though, those 2 prizes could be tough. Great way to start the game off. Use that Cramomatic, a really strong item card. Of course, you have to discard an item from your hand in order to use it. You flip a coin, and if you get heads, you get to search your deck for any card. You don't have to show it to your opponent, but Ricardo's just going to go ahead and let us know Battle VIP Pass is coming down.
Yeah. I think Patricia also would have known straight away what Ricardo's going for.
Absolutely.
Like, this is absolutely the go-to turn 1 if you get heads on a Cramomatic. Battle VIP Pass, as we mentioned in round 1, just lets you grab any 2 basic Pokemon from your deck and put them onto the bench as long as you play it on your first turn. After that, it's not very useful, but of course, unlike in some other decks, in the Mew deck, it actually can be okay in the terms that it can be just discard fodder for other Chromomatics.
Yes, it works out. I mean, this is the deck that it probably fits in the best. Nothing else to thin the hand down here, though, for Ricardo, so we don't see any abilities utilized, and Patricia will start the turn off with a Quick Ball, losing a Psychic Energy, and can eye up a basic Pokemon, and Drapion coming to the front of the deck right away. There's only 1 Mew V in play for Ricardo.
That could be very, very dangerous territory. Patricia only needs 1 energy to attack with that Drapion V and get a knockout on the Mew.
Yes, that is huge. Of course, with the 3 Fusion Strike Pokemon in play, Drapion's attack does only cost 1 energy thanks to that Wild Style ability. So Dynamic Tail could be utilized for just 1 energy, and this is kind of a little bit of a gamble from Patricia, because if Ricardo is playing the Fusion Strike build of the deck, then he could theoretically respond with a Meloetta KO on this Drapion. But if he's not playing the Fusion Strike build, I mean, this is just such a good play, because there's no way that Ricardo can attack next turn.
And actually, I think, to be fair, even if Ricardo is playing the Fusion Strike build, you KO the 1 Mew that's out, all that's left is like a Genesect, which is a little bit harder to retreat. I think Patricia is still like fine regardless.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still a good play regardless. I'm just saying it's maybe a little bit sketchier, you could say, a little bit more awkward of a spot. But yeah, here comes the Comfey, does Lost Zone 1 Choice Belt. We see 1 card into the Lost Zone here. Ooh, almost attached to the active. Can't do that if you want to attach to the Drapion. And sure enough, Dynamic Tail takes a 2-prize KO, and Ricardo already so far on the back foot.
Wastes no time there at all with the retreat and the attachment just to get that Dynamic Tail going. And there's the pass to the peak. Would have been nice to see that a bit sooner, unfortunately, but it just came 1 turn too late, and for that poor Mew.
Quick Ball does ditch a Marnie, can grab another Mew out of the deck, and Ricardo just kind of hoping that it'll stick around at this point. This play from Patricia does set her up a little bit slower, though. There is only 1 card in the Lost Zone, right? So that's a big thing. Only having 1 card in the Lost Zone is not where you want to be. You want to get as many cards down as quickly as possible, because you need 10 cards in the Lost Zone to start attacking with Lost Mine on the Sableye. Yeah,
and I think, obviously, Patricia kind of doing that calculation and thinking to herself, okay, this is worth it regardless, because I do essentially put myself in such a big lead by being able to KO the only Mew. But it is something you have to think about as well, and I'm sure Patricia in the next turn will probably want to get a few more cards in the Lost Zone and start setting herself up a bit more for the later game.
Patricia does play 2 copies of Lost Vacuum, but her only Stadium in the deck is actually 2 copies of Path to the Peak, so won't be able to bump the Stadium with a different Stadium. It'll have to be with that Lost Vacuum to Lost Zone that card.
Yeah, we do see there Ricardo going through his turn. After playing a Marnie, does go for a Quick Ball, discarding a Battle VIP Pass. Very happy to discard that.
Sure.
And going to grab that second Mew, not wanting to fall victim to another Dynamic Tail knocking out only Mew shenanigans.
Right.
And so now, I think it's going to be on, because I think the big problem, of course, is that Ricardo did play down the passive peak, so you can't really do much drawing right now.
Oh, and Patricia, she's just drawn it. There's the Lost Vacuum already in the hand. That is super strong. Drapion can just take the knockout on Genesect, take 2 prize cards, and yeah, we're seeing it slam down right away. This is such a big lead.
No, doesn't Patricia need a choice spell, because it does 170 damage, right? That's not going to...
No, it does 190.
Oh, it does 190?
It does 190,
Oh, okay.
It's too good.
Yeah.
The card's too good against Mew.
God, KO Genesect and Mew, my goodness.
Yes, super strong. And I mean, it does have the drawback of having to play 60 damage on your side of the field, but you don't really mind it too much. We saw the last hit was soaked up by the Cramorant. Now this one will be soaked up by the Oranguru. Patricia on turn 2 takes 2 more prize cards, only 2 remaining.
You really don't mind, having to do 62 and stuff when you're already 4 prizes ahead against Mew. This is absolutely devastating for Ricardo, and you always hate to like count out a player when it's so early into the game, but at this point, what does Ricardo even do to like make the comeback here? Because I mean, you have basically almost nothing to work with.
It's tough. I mean, it starts with knocking out this Drapion,
Yes,
that's for sure.
It has to go down this turn.
And with Patricia only having 2 cards in the Lost Zone, there's going to not be too much she can do. She can attack with the Cramorant, do 110 damage as an option at least. But Ricardo, I think, step 1, definitely let's try to take out this active Drapion, and we do see that Forest Seal Stone coming into play. Has not been used, but on the other end of this Genesect, we could see that utilized in order to find whatever other piece you need, be it the double turbo energy potentially in this spot.
Yeah, very important thing to talk about, of course, is an interaction that I've seen a lot of discussion, but for those who perhaps might not be aware, one very important thing about Forest Seal Stone is the fact that because the ability itself is on the card and not the Pokemon, you can use it even if Path to the Peak is in play.
Yep, very interesting interaction, but that is how it works out. You're able to still use that V-Star power because Genesect V does not have the ability, it can just use the ability.
Yes, so that means that even under Path to the Peak, it doesn't, because the ability isn't on a thing with a rule box, it is still available. And it's one of the things that makes Forest Seal Stone so good in Mew, because it's another out to Path to the Peak from your opponent, and lets you just get yourself going straight away again with drawing more cards.
And especially in this version of the deck, where you're playing your own Path to the Peak, it becomes an out to not only your opponent's Path to the Peak, but your own Path to the Peak as well.
Yeah, just a crazy, crazy good card, especially in this deck. And if there's anything that will elevate Mew, or either keep Mew where it still wasn't meta game, or keep it to maybe elevate it to the next level, it's going to be this card. I think it's one of the most important inclusions and new things to come out for this deck from Silver Tempest.
Ricardo has found everything he needs here. Double turbo energy, Path to the Peak, and did use the V-Star power. I didn't notice that get flipped, but yes, has used it. And it should be... Oh, no, Power Tablet, though. He actually, I think, was discarding some Power Tablets with the Ultra Ball, so that is really interesting. Not enough to take the KO. Patricia just needing a Lost Vacuum, and the game is over. If she has a Lost Vacuum, that is it. There is 1 copy remaining in the deck.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, Escape Rope, so I guess Patricia going to now be switching into a Comfey, maybe start doing some Flower Selects and try and dig for, the out to win that way. Or even... Actually, no, you could just retreat... as long as you still find the out for the Path to the Peak, of course, but this gives more options to take the win, actually.
I think a Scoop Up Net was taken off of this Comfey, so we can see this one picked up, go into the other Comfey, and this is, we haven't seen this yet from the deck in this game, but this is what the deck is supposed to do. Use Comfey time and time again, Scoop Up Net, Switch, Air Balloon, all these things. Is that the Lost Vacuum?
That's the Vacuum.
I think she's got it.
There's the Air Balloon, that's it, the game's over. Air Balloon, Lost Vacuum, get rid of the Path, retreat and attack, and that will be Patricia taking game 1.
Wow, what a game from Patricia. 3 turns, 3 KOs, and that is the game.
Unless there's a debate happening? Seems to be some kind of disagreement, though no one's picked up their cards yet.
Yeah, I think that this should be it. There wasn't any weird missed switches or anything like that. Everything was scooped up net properly. Wild Style is active. That Path to the Peak, it's still on the table, but it should be in the Lost Zone, and I'm sure...
I think the debate might be around whether Patricia already retreated this turn, but she didn't, because, she wouldn't have been able to with the Drapion, right?
No, it was an escape rope, right?
Yeah, it was escape rope, scoop up net, retreat.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, okay, so we've just gotten word. Apparently there may have been 2 energy attachments in 1 turn. That's what's been based right now. I don't recall seeing any. Yeah,
no, the Drapion has had the fire energy for a few turns now, and the... did Patricia even attach another energy this turn? No, right?
No, so there's 1 energy in the discard pile. The only one that was quick balled away.
Yeah, and Ricardo only has 1 energy in play.
That's, okay, so... Yeah, I'm not quite sure... Okay, so yeah, they're just rewinding the game state right now and talking this through. I'm 99% sure from everything that we've seen that this is all legal and above board, right?
Yeah, I don't think there was a double attachment, but our judges are going to be on top of it. If there's a chance that something happened, we want to make sure the game resolves as it should. So looks like they're just going to go back through and double check everything. But yeah, I think we should be A-okay, and it looks like Patricia's going to close this one out.
Okay, so just gonna.
So just talking about this matchup after what we've seen so far, I mean, Ricardo missing the KO on the Drapion there was absolutely huge. I think if Ricardo gets that KO, this game is still going on, most likely.
Yes.
So I don't know. I guess he maybe had to discard the power tablets at some point. There was definitely a few that got Ultra Balled away in that last turn.
Yeah, so either that or just not being able to see them, right? So yeah, through those sort of combination of factors, just missing the KO, which, as you said, was absolutely huge. And yeah, we can see here, going for the discard, there was literally the only energy that's been attached this whole game from Patricia's side was the fire on the Drapion, so I don't see how a double attachment could have really happened.
Yeah, maybe something else that they're looking at potentially. Let's also talk about how Patricia was able to find the second Lost Vacuum. She's only got 2 copies in the deck. Used one early. Hasn't really thinned the deck very well, but was able to get into it. That's just sometimes how it goes.
Yeah, it was definitely a fortunate find for her, but I mean, you got to go for it, right? You play Pokemon, you play the odds, so you just play it to the best you can, and if you find it, you find it, and Patricia did it in that instance. Looks like this might be coming to a resolution now, so maybe there might be some cards being picked up.
Yeah, it looks like a little bit of heated discussion. We're getting it quite figured out, but yeah, it looks like cards are getting scooped up now. We'll try to get word on exactly what the result was from our director as soon as we can, but yeah, it looks like we are, regardless of results, going to Game 2.
Yeah, so where are you going?
And Battle VIP Pass, yep, here it is. 1 Genesect in the active. We'll see if 1 or 2 Mews gets pulled out. Looks like it's just 1 for now. What's going to be that second grab? As we do see some prize cards from both players. Ooh, 2 fire energies in the prizes for Patricia. That could be a big deal. You need those to attack with your Radiant Charizard. It is the kind of closer in this deck, and something you can do in this matchup. You can, either Drapion twice into 2 VMAXs, or you can take 2/2/2 for your prize cards, and using Radiant Charizard is a good way to do that. So not having access to fire energy is going to be a big deal.
I guess the saving grace is, of course, the fact that because it's usually something you attack with in the later game, as long as you can get one of those energies out by then you might be fine, right? I think it's that it makes it sort of less bad than it would have been otherwise.
Sure, definitely. That is definitely important to note. A second Battle VIP Pass from Ricardo. Very good. Already a much better start. 2 Mews, so we're not going to see anything similar to what we saw in the last game. As Forest Seal Stone was actually used to grab the other VIP Pass, I imagine.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, why not, right? That's what it's there for. It's there to grab what you need when you need it, and it means that you can't use it later on, but if you can get as good a setup as this, then that makes it absolutely worth it.
And that's why the card is so strong, right? You can use it early game to guarantee your setup, which is what we saw in this game, or you can use it late game to get out of a sticky situation.
Yeah, and we can look at this already. We can see that Ricardo kind of a little bit heads up here, thinking, I know Drapion devastated me last turn, or last game rather. Let me put down the Pass of the Peak now, because then at least it forces Patricia to find a Lost Vacuum as well as the Drapion to get a knockout on this Genesect.
Yep, doesn't even need the energy this time, so that is definitely good to note for Patricia. Needed the energy last time because there's only 3 Fusion Strike Pokemon in play, but now with 6 in play, yeah, Drapion can attack for negative energy pretty much.
Yes. Obviously, this isn't how it works, but it would be so funny if, the attack cost reduced so much that you could, attach energy when you attack it.
Yeah, sure.
That's not how it works, though, just to absolutely clarify.
Sure.
It's, you can't have negative attack costs.
So Patricia now with the Battle VIP Pass, an excellent start to the game. Looks like 2 Comfey were grabbed right away. Is that what she really wants to go for here? Just try to value the setup as much as possible?
It looks like it, yeah. And I think at this point it makes sense because there is quite a bit that you need to find if you want to pull off this attack with the Drapion, and I think getting the means to actually dig through the deck to get there is more important at this point.
And I think it's important to note, too, Patricia doesn't have to attack with Drapion, and in fact, she may not even want to, right? It was so good in Game 1 because Ricardo only had 1 Mew in play. In this game, it may be less strong, so we could see her go for, instead of a 2/2/2 prize line, just a Mew VMAX knockout, Mew VMAX knockout.
Yeah, which of course would be even easier, right? And so as the prize mapping goes, and that's really where Drapion is at its strongest if it can KO a Mew VMAX, so it makes sense to go for that.
Colress's Experiment, one of the premier cards of the previous expansion, Lost Origin, letting you look at the top 5 cards of your deck, put 3 of them into your hand, and then send 2 more to the Lost Zone. So this is how we fuel the Lost Zone, how we get more cards in there, and how you can eventually get to the attacks of the Sableye, how you can fuel your Cramorant as an attacker as well, and how you can even potentially use Mirage Gate, which we actually see Patricia is playing, which is a very interesting card to include in this version of the deck.
Yeah, we normally see Mirage Gate more focused in the more slightly aggressive Greninja builds, right? The ones that kind of focus more on doing attack multiple energy attack cost attacks, but normally in the Sableye Charizard variants, we kind of don't see it. So the fact that it is in there could really it's bringing a really nice surprise. Maybe attacking with Charizard earlier than otherwise you might expect.
And that, I have to imagine, is why it is in the deck, right?
Yeah.
So you can get the Charizard attack. Because previously, you know, I mean, if we look at the list that Tord used to win Peoria, he could not attack with Charizard until your opponent was just at 2 prize cards remaining. There was no way to get an extra energy unless you, like, benched it and attached energies to it manually, which most people wouldn't want to do, right? Pedro took a spin on that in his list that he used to win Warsaw, and he played the 1 Magma Basin Stadium card so that he could attack with Charizard 1 turn earlier. And this is kind of Patricia's evolution to that, adding the couple of Mirage Gates, give yourself that option.
Yeah, and so funnily enough, I at Warsaw I played Lost Box myself, but I played a list closer to what like Tord played. And when I saw Pedro's list afterwards, I thought to myself, there were quite a few instances where honestly, if I had the Magma Basin, that would have really helped out a lot because sometimes you just do want to attack with that Charizard a little bit earlier. And I'm sure, like you just said, that's exactly the mindset that Patricia had going into building this list and thinking, how can I attack the Charizard earlier, maybe just with Mirage Gate instead.
This is a solid find here for Patricia, able to use the Escape Rope, force this Cramorant back into the active, and even though it's not a KO, hey, hitting for 110 damage for 0 energy, that's pretty good. That Spent Innocently attack, of course, being able to be used because of Lost Provisions. If you have 4 or more cards in the Lost Zone, ignore all energy in this Pokemon's attack cost.
Yeah, it's such a great ability. Oh, but we do see there now the Devastator, the double cross switcher, gonna come out and attack the Oranguru. And actually, I like this a lot because I think that a lot of the time it's really underrated just how much consistency and flexibility the Oranguru offers you. So taking it off the board early on is going to make the rest of the game really a lot more awkward for Patricia.
And the Path to the Peak has remained in play.
That too, yes, indeed. So that's gonna. So the Patricia still needs to find more outs in order to, be able to actually make mount a counter attack with something.
So Colress's Experiment sees 5 cards. That's a lot of cards. There's a Lost Vacuum.
Oh.
Now, the question is, does she have a way to get Drapion? Not here in this Colress, but in the hand, maybe there's something.
Yeah, and I mean, no matter what, you got to take the Lost Vacuum, right? Because
of course,
this is the turn where if you can take an attack with Drapion, you're going to be in very, very good stead to win. But you need to find it, of course. So there's one piece of the puzzle. There is the Lost Vacuum. Maybe you're going to try and start, digging with some Comfey, see if you can find a quick ball or just a Drapion directly. I think
his Escape Rope is the grab. Path to the Peak can go to the Lost Zone. That's the only stadium either of these players play.
Yeah.
And that is the 7th card. So now Mirage Gate is active.
Yes, it is. Now, here's an interesting question. Could Patricia actually power up Drapion in 1 turn?
Is the Drapion there in the hand?
Wait,
it is.
Oh, it
yes,
is.
She's already got it. So that means that this Mew in the active is going to go down. She's sitting on the Lost Vacuum and the Switch cart in order to get this Comfey out of the active spot.
So this is going to be an absolutely devastating turn from Patricia's side. Has the Mirage Gate ready to go as well. 7 in the Lost Zone, but probably doesn't want to use it this turn. Doesn't really need to.
Has to figure out what to Lost Zone here off the Lost Vacuum. Of course, in order to use its effect, you do have to send one of your own cards to the Lost Zone.
Indeed you do, and we do see there Patricia choosing to Lost Zone and Escape Rope, thinking, I have enough of these already, I can afford to get rid of 1, and I still have the Switch card to switch into the Drapion.
Massive. I mean, this is just a huge, huge turn for Patricia. 3 prize cards, and you can see why she didn't really feel the pressure to go super hard for the Drapion on turn 1, because taking this 3 prize KO, I mean, Ricardo's only other option is to attack with another Mew VMAX.
And not only that, but if he does that, he has to do it with a Mew VMAX, so that's already damaged because the Mew's already damaged. There's no way to attack with a fresh Mew VMAX this turn.
Yes, that is absolutely true. Patricia now taking 3 prizes, all of the fire energy still remaining. So Radiant Charizard's not going to be an option to close the game out. That would have been potentially something she could have done because this Mew already has some damage on it. Radiant Charizard could have potentially gotten there. Over on Ricardo's side, we do see Ultra Ball. Looks like just 2 Lost Vacuums hitting the discard pile.
Yeah, and I mean, this is double devastating, right? Because, like we just said, Ricardo's forced to evolve this now. If Patricia, without, more than likely, just Drapion gets KO'd. But if it does, all Patricia needs to do is find an Ordinary Rod, but...
That is a huge play from Ricardo. The Roxanne, one of the strongest cards from that Astral Radiance expansion. You can only play it if your opponent has 3 or fewer cards remaining. Each player shuffles their hand into their deck. You get 6. Your opponent gets 2. This is such a great way to try to come back in a game.
Yeah, this is exactly what Ricardo needs to do this turn. Ricardo needs to minimize the chances of Patricia hitting this Ordinary Rod, because Ordinary Rod plus way to get Drapion plus a switch out wins Patricia the game.
Yeah, or just Clara as well. Patricia is, of course, playing 2 copies of that card as well, so that could even just close it out.
In which case, you just need the... then you'd be able to get back in energy and just retreat. So, yeah, Clara would be an insta-win. Oof. So yeah, Ricardo doing all he can to make sure that that doesn't happen. Again, going correctly with the Roxanne, but now it's kind of all up to fate.
Yeah, needs to find the double turbo energy here. And I think if Ricardo can also find Path to the Peak, that would be huge,
Yes.
right? Getting the Path to the Peak out would make it as hard as possible for Patricia to pull off the knockout.
Yeah, and that's exactly what he's going to be digging for here, I'm sure. Although I don't believe that I see it so far. That's a Rotom phone being played. He's going to grab a double turbo from that, or oh no, that's just his hand.
It does need to play the Power Tablet. Yeah,
Yes.
don't want to not do that. So Power Tablet now means that Mew will be able to reach for the one-hit knockout. Quick Ball can thin one more card out. We still have 3 Fusion Strike systems to work through. So with 2 Path to the Peak remaining in the deck, Ricardo's got a decent shot to find it here.
Actually, I think it might only be 1, because didn't Ricardo have to discard a Path to the Peak? Oh no, Patricia lost zone 1.
Yeah, Patricia lost on 1. Maybe there isn't. Maybe it's only 1 in the deck, but yeah, regardless, still
He needs to
lots
find
of
it.
cards going to be able to draw.
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
And he needs to find it here, like
Yeah.
you mentioned.
Okay, so here we go. Fusion Strike System number 2. Don't think I see it yet. No, another Forest Seal Stone, Boss Disorders.
Plenty of ways to thin some cards out, though.
Yeah, Choice Belt can go down as well. Could maybe even play the Lost Vacuum just for the sake of, thinning out, although I guess you should get rid of one of the Forest Seal Stones. You don't really need them anymore.
Yeah, that's an easy discard. Or just Ultra Ball thins even more cards out, potentially.
Yeah. Either way, going to be thinning out as much as possible for Fusion Strike System number 3, just digging for that Path to the Peak. Here we go.
That is the one thing Ricardo is looking for here. Let's see if he's able to find it. Drawing 5 cards this time.
There it
is
is.
the path.
Yep.
Huge draw. What he needs to try to slow Patricia down as much as possible.
Yep.
So Patricia can still win on this next turn, which is so crazy, but it's going to involve a lot of cards.
Yeah.
Clara, Lost Vacuum, and that would do it. So
Yes.
that 2 combination of cards could close it out. Let's see if she's able to piece it together. That would be crazy if she could.
Oh, that's the Ordinary Rod.
Okay, that is an option as well.
Yes, so...
Ordinary Rod into like Colress or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. So, but looks like is Patricia going to play Hisuian Heavy Ball first?
Yep, looks like it thinning a card out of the hand. We see 2 fires and the 1 VIP pass remaining. Yes, sure enough, Patricia, you did prize both of your fire energies, as unlucky as it is.
Yeah, not going to be happy about that. But in this instance, actually, doesn't matter too much. This isn't the Radiant Charizard isn't what is the go-to here. It's got to be that Drapion. So, going to go for the flower selecting 1, 2.
I think that's a Colress.
Oh, that's big. That's going to be. You have to dig a lot more.
And Patricia does not have to win the game this turn. She is still very much ahead in this game, so we could even see her take a turn to try to use Sableye potentially if she can find a Psychic Energy. Does need 1 more card in the Lost Zone to be able to do that.
Yes, that is true. So currently with 9, just needing that 1 extra to be able to start attacking with a Lost Mine. So, but now it looks like, yes, going to go for the Ordinary Rod and probably going to get back. Definitely the Drapion, but maybe the Psychic Energy as well. Oh, the Oranguru, another important piece, another thing to dig with. Yeah, just going to get back everything she can.
Yeah, a Ringaroo is a decent thing to put back. It gives you 1 more card you can potentially see. I could understand maybe not putting it back into the deck because it doesn't immediately win you the game potentially, but definitely want the Psychic Energy because that'll give you the Sableye option, and I do believe she has a Sableye in hand.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely the correct call to put everything back that she can, and imagine after doing that, going to go straight away for that Chorus's experiment and yeah, see what she can find. I mean, like we said, possible for her to win this turn, but really not mandatory at all.
Not at all. She's in such a good spot. She can take it slow. At minimum here, I think she would like to just at least attack with something, be it the Cramorant or the Sableye.
So let's see. Is there 5 off the top? I don't believe I see the Vacuum. I do see a Psychic Energy. Oh, there is a Clara.
Okay.
Clara's
kind of awkward because you've just put the the Drapion back into the deck.
Yes.
And it looks like Psychic Energy actually will hit the Lost Zone, excuse me.
Yeah, and there was a Scoop up net as well, so imagine probably going to play that and, yeah, just try and start digging some more with Comphase, do some more flower selectings, get some more cards out of the deck, because you still have the switch card to end on, so that you can switch it to the Cramorant and spit instantly.
Air Balloon is one of the options here. Looks like Comfy as the other one. I think Air Balloon is probably pretty valuable here, giving you that pivot option.
Yeah, and I think as well, you never really want to bench 4 Comphase, right? So, oh no, it's a Sableye. Oh.
That makes it a little tougher of a decision.
Yes.
Because I think there is already a Sableye in the Lost Zone.
Yes, I believe so. So maybe at this point, I mean, Patricia's just committing to not using it, given that she did put the Psychic Energy in there as well. So maybe just thinking, okay, at this point, I just give up on that, and I just accept that I want to attack with other things. Is that the Drapion?
No, must not be, because it's going to the Lost Zone.
Okay, it's your Oranguru. Okay, fair enough.
And I think maybe Patricia is not worried about attacking with Sableye because she, at minimum, can just attack with Cramorant, right? And Ricardo, of course, can just use Psychic Leap to try to put all this damage back into the deck, which is maybe what he would choose to go for. So she's not too pressed to try to go for the Sableye here.
Yeah, no, and I think that's a fair decision to make. I think maybe actually overall the main thing she wanted to do was to put some damage on the board, but also do as many flower selectings as possible. Just really try and thin the deck as much as she can, so that she can find her way into her outs to win, be it the Drapion or maybe even some other kind of attacking threat.
So interesting choice here. There's an escape rope in hand, but also air balloon. So Patricia has to decide, do I want to attack into this active Mew, or do I want one more flower selecting? What is more valuable to me in this spot? And it seems that the damage is more valuable right now.
Yeah.
Wanting to force Ricardo to try to go for a Psychic Leap here, which, interestingly enough, would take the only 3 prize Pokemon out of play.
Yeah, so that could be potentially a little bit awkward, because... obviously, then at that point, there'd be no Mews left, but then Ricardo couldn't really bring up the other Mew either, so maybe Ricardo kind of has to then just bring up a Genesect and then could potentially leave himself a little bit stuck. So, but at this point, there's really no choice. You have to Psychic Leap, because otherwise the game finishes.
And funny enough, it does actually get the KO on the Cramorant due to the 60 damage that was placed on that Cramorant earlier on from that Drapion. Normally, in order to get a Psychic Leap KO, you have to combine a bunch of power tablets with it. Not something that Ricardo had to worry about in this spot.
No, absolutely not. So, but in this instance, because that was the damage had to be put on. That opportunity was open to Ricardo. So now back to Patricia. See, Ricardo did have to bring up the Genesect. Patricia's going to do a few more flower selectings, just really try to find that Drapion again. Going to lost in Manaphy. No use in this matchup.
So Ricardo actually has a realistic path to win here. If Ricardo can just Psychic Leap 2 turns in a row, right, taking a knockout, but keeping a 3 prize Pokemon out of play, and Patricia's not able to pull off some sort of attack this turn to try to put pressure on a 2 prize Pokemon, then Ricardo actually has a decent strategy to try to win this game.
Yeah, very much so. So now it's going to be on Patricia to do all the flower selects in the world. And I think at this point, accepting now I kind of have to Sableye, because I need to spread some damage and actually set up a potential win condition for myself.
Yeah, we've got way too many cards in the loss, so now we just need to write enough up there at this point, more than enough to satisfy every single possible condition that you could have. Ultra Ball looks like... Oh, are we back? Yeah, I think we're back over to Ricardo now.
Yeah,
the Ultra Ball is being played, so Patricia not attacking. Okay, this is huge. If Ricardo can use the Psychic Leap, get a KO on this Comfey. He just needs to use 1 power tablet in order to do it, thanks to the damage reduction of Double Turbo. Put that Mew VMAX back into the deck. Ricardo, I think, is actually in a really solid spot.
And this is very, very clever heads-up play from Ricardo. He knows exactly what he needs to do to avoid falling prey to that Drapion trap, and that's kind of exactly how he's formulating this strategy right now. So all it's going to come down to now is him finding another Mew and a way to retreat the Genesect. So those are his 2 key finds this turn.
A super awkward thing here, though, for Ricardo is I think he has discarded all of his Lost Vacuums. They've all gotten Ultra Balled away throughout the course of this game, or Cramomatic, something like that. So he may have 1 left in the deck, but I've seen quite a few hit the discard pile already. So this path to the peak may kind of hinder some of those plays a little bit. Yeah,
I do remember seeing earlier there was an Ultra Ball where it was literally just a double discard of a Lost Vacuum. So and given that, I'm fairly sure I saw another one at some point getting hit this card as well, so it makes things awkward, because now you can't use your draw engine, which you'd use to find the things that you need to find.
Right. Yeah, needs to find a switch card. That's honestly step 1, and then having the power tablet and another Mew V to copy. Those are all things that you would really love to see.
Yeah, so...
There's a Cramomatic in hand.
So that could be a way to find things, although...
Already a power tablet as well.
So... I guess maybe he's probably just debating...
Oh, and a switch card. Oh. He's got most of the pieces he needs.
Okay, wow. So he's just missing the Mew then, really?
Yeah. Yes, and a Marnie in hand, though, could find those other pieces potentially.
Yeah, so maybe at this point he's just thinking about what's the best way for me to sequence this to make it the most likely to happen. That's... Because what you could do, if you wanted to pull it off this turn, you could actually just Cramomatic discard the Echoing Horn. If you hit heads, you've got it, right? So... Yep.
Yeah, Horn's not super relevant at this point. The Drapion's already been put back into the deck. That would be a way you could potentially try to close out the game for 2 prizes, right?
Yeah.
So Horn can be a pretty easy discard off the Cramomatic.
There's the switch card.
That's step 1. Power tablet in hand is step 2, or Cramomatic could be step 2. Or the Horn itself.
Okay. So what even is that to bring back?
Just something useless. Try to clog the bench up a little bit.
Oh, possibly. Yeah. No, I can see that. So that gives Patricia a little bit less space to work with. But actually gonna cram away the power tablet.
And does hit a Tails. Does play the Marnie, so this will find more cards. But this must mean Ricardo doesn't feel confident in the ability to pull off the Psychic Leap play, or maybe he just doesn't quite see the line potentially, or doesn't want to go for it in this spot.
Yeah, it's always important to remember, obviously, the players are working with more information than we are. Perhaps they can see things that we don't.
Yes,
so
of course.
That can sometimes inform the way some of the lines go. Oh, we do see the Ultra Ball there, actually.
Yep, looks like does find the Ultra Ball, so that can get the Mew V, and does find a Power Tablet again, so gets bailed out a little bit, does still have the line available.
Yeah, so it worked out well for him. So, yeah, Ultra Ball now going to find that Mew V. And with the Power Tablet, like we mentioned before, going to be able to use Psychic Leap and get a knockout. And yeah, this is now a very, very devastating position for Patricia because she can't win next turn, but Ricardo absolutely can.
And does go for the Psychic Leap and is actually, is he going to choose to leave? Does choose to leave the Mew VMAX in play. Okay, must not feel confident that he could get into the pieces to attack next turn. That must be what his thought process is. But this is a massive opening here for Patricia. Yeah,
Patricia's got to be thinking to herself, this could have been absolutely devastating for me, but now I actually have an opportunity to win here. Just needs to find that last lost vacuum and the Drapion. That's all she needs to find.
Yep. And does already have a Colress in hand. We see this Comfy with the Air Balloon come to the active. Mirage Gate can even shuffle the deck as well, because if there was good cards put on the bottom for the Marnie.
So here we go, 5 cards. There's a Clara, I see another Mirage Gate, and that's not really... It's not the win, we can say that much.
Quick Ball.
Okay.
So that's decent. That can find the Drapion. We can thin that out of the deck right away, and then now it's going to be up to these Comfies here, these Flower Selectings. Can we find the lost vacuum?
This is all it comes down to. So I imagine that'll be exactly what your Patricia's going for. Yeah, Quick Ball, discard the Battle VIP pass, just grab that Drapion.
It's in the deck. I see it right there.
Oh. And this is where the earlier chain of Flower Selectings really pays off, because now the deck is super, super thin.
Yes,
so Patricia's odds of hitting this are so much more.
19 cards in the Lost Zone may be a record. I don't know that we've quite seen that much, and it's not over yet. We're sending number 20 here, looking for the Lost Vacuum. Does she find it? I think that was it. Was that it?
I think it was. Yes, that's it. Drapion, Lost Vacuum. That's it. It's
Gets
game.
rid of the Clara and now can retreat to Drapion. One hit KO that Mew VMAX. And Patricia wins a tight game 2, but a convincing 2-game set.
Yes, huge, huge congratulations to Patricia there, playing exactly to her outs, knowing exactly what she needed to do to hit them into, but really...